Yeah, so I got to go to South Africa one time and drove around all over the southern part around Cape Town and Parle and a bunch of wine vineyards down there. It's really pretty. And went to, down to the Cape of Good Hope area and some of the beaches down there. And just a stunningly beautiful part of the world. And stayed in an old Dutch manor house that was run by a local Afrikaner and his wife, and just had a wonderful time. It's a very beautiful part of the country. I know the whole country doesn't look like that, but down in that southern part of South Africa, God, it should be on your bucket list because it's beautiful. But anyway, as we were driving around in this chauffeur-driven van, we're going to different seafood restaurants and stuff every day. We went by, we were driving by a little prison, sort of like a small penitentiary. It only looked like a farmhouse, big farmhouse, and a couple of other little houses, and a guardhouse and a guard tower. And there was razor wire and guard dogs and guys with machine guns and stuff. And I asked our driver, what is that place? And he says, with kind of a snicker, he says, "Oh, that's where we keep Nellie." And I said, "Nellie?" And he goes, "Yeah, of course, Nelson Mandela." And I had never heard the name before. This is 1989, and it's during apartheid, and I didn't know who Nelson Mandela was, and so I read about him later. He had been on that horrible, like, Devil's Island out there off of South Africa for years, in some prison, doing hard labor. And the last 2 or 3 years of his sentence, apparently, they brought him up to this little, sort of like a little guest house type prison. And but it was a prison. It had, serious looking people with machine guns around it. And I asked the driver, like, what did this guy do? And he said, "Oh, he wanted one vote for everybody, including the blacks." I've thought about that in years since, and what a hard place it must have been for millions of people to live when they didn't have any say-so at all, and how the country was run. And so anyway, I was really shocked a few years later. Imagine my surprise when I turned on the television set in Houston, or Austin, I think it was, and I saw this man, Nelson Mandela, being elected president of the whole country. I mean, apartheid was over, and immediately they elected him president. And I saw his inauguration speech, and I was blown away at how quickly our fortunes can rise and fall, because here he was on the podium giving this big speech, and he said something there. He quoted another author, and I can't remember who it is. It's a lady, but it always stuck in my mind what he said, and it went something like this. He said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. We were born to manifest the glory of God that's within us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we give others permission to do the same. And as we overcome our fear, our presence allows other people to do the same." It went something like that. And I'm sure that's not exactly correct, but you get the drift. It was a great speech and a great quote, and I was just amazed. And so, sometimes when I'm feeling, that I should be more, or things should be different or something, I remember throughout my life, and there's something nice about growing a little older. And in my 59 years, I've learned that even, you know, if the roller coaster goes downhill a little bit, you know, things can change quickly. And so have hope, and remember not to be afraid of your light.